Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. This is a real life story, and I really do hope that some parents will definitely learn from this. And let me start by saying that sometimes some parents think that a living black neighborhood to another neighborhood, like probably predominant or other minorities in some places, I think that they are going to be safer and the rest of it. But getting there, they do not know how harmful it could be to their kids. So it happened that her child actually went out to play at the playground because from her house, you could see the playground and she can also watch what is going on. And then the child came back because another child used a slur on the son, and then at the same time pulled cuts right on the child. And the mother decided to confront the father, Hispanic father, and the man started lying straight up. Now, see, let me tell you something. I want us to know that our kids cannot be perfect. There are times that they are very wrong, right? Or they do some not good things. And it is okay. It is okay to chastise them or be angry with them instead of you lying about it right in front of them. When you start lying in front of your children and they know that you are lying, you are in hell. Let's get into this video.
These non-black kids up here in this liberal state in the suburbs are demons. You know how you go to an all-black school like I did and you have a couple of, whites and Asians or whatever, but they knew their place. And by that I mean they knew that all that racist shit that they learned at home, they couldn't take to black people because they would get their ass beat. Here, black people are the least of the population. When I first moved here, my son was like 11 years old. My middle child was like 9. And my youngest was like 3 years old, right? So I let my older 2 children go and play in the neighborhood park. That's where all the kids would go. It's a neighborhood park. I could see them from my house. It was all good. So one day my children came home and said that some of those kids started bullying them. So I told them, hold their ground. Well, one day, this child pulls a knife out on my son. Now, that was it for me. But I called the police, and the police came out and said that they can't do nothing about bullying, and they usually don't come out here with child stuff, but the only reason they came out is because there was a knife involved. They end up saying that they can't find who the child is. No worries. My son had told me what this child looked like, because now my children are going to the park. So I saw him while I was driving. So I followed his ass home. So when I hopped out, him and his friends on their bike saw me and they said, oh shit, she found out where you live. I already believed my son, but that right there confirmed it. So I knock on the door, right? A Hispanic man comes out. That's his daddy. I tell him what's going on, and I'm passionate about it because his child pulled a knife out on my child. This man looks unbothered by it, which is really setting me off, and I'm shaking. He then proceeds to tell me that my son called that little boy the C slur for Asian people. I was confused because I was like, the C word? What is you talking about? Because I wasn't even thinking like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He then says the word. I said, man, get out of my face. My son don't even know that word. You tripping. Your son lying. I called my son. I said, do you know what the slur is for Asian people? He said, what are you talking about? I said, okay. I said, your son pulled a knife out on my son. I don't give a fuck what he called him, honestly. But I'm not in his face. I'm not being aggressive. I've stood back. He then tells me, well, yeah, my son does have this kit with a knife on it. So how would my son know that your son has that if he didn't pull it out? He said, I'll deal with my son. Okay. So I'm walking down and I'm on the street. Then his wife comes out. And it's the Asian woman. Because at first I was confused. Why would my son call your child an Asian slur if he Hispanic? But now I understand. She comes out and she has an attitude, right? So she comes to the sidewalk where I am and stands in front of me. Her and her husband now. Again, I'm upset. Their son pulled a knife out on my son. So I am upset. And so I'm talking to her, telling her what's going on. And she tells me I need to lower my voice. I know it's so fucking lame when people say they black out. But see, I'm schizophrenic and I have dissociation. I did black out. Me, I went away. I came to when I was being dragged and picked up and put in the car. And I was cussing her the fuck out, right? I later found out that I was picked up and dragged to the car because I was reaching for her. So now I'm in the car. I done got put in the car and I can't get out because somebody was leaning on the car, refusing to let me out. Now she on the sidewalk, safe now, and now she want to start getting booked and her husband pulling her away. She gonna scream out, "You better not put your hands on my child." I said, "Bitch, I never said I'm gonna put my hands on your child. I said I'm gonna put my hands on you." Anyway, I had a hammer in the... Exactly. That's crazy because black parents think their kids are safer around non-blacks over black children. Now, before we get to this, I do see the comments, which I knew were coming, that said that I'm one of those black women who thought that my children would be safer around white kids and non-black kids because their daddy's white. I've never felt that way. But y'all do this every time I try to speak on black issues. What do you prefer me to do? You want me to do the after black spouse woman a challenge or whatever the fuck that is? You want me to do that coonish thing? Y'all want me to get on here and down and dog black men instead of defending them, which I have several times over the years with several videos? Would y'all rather when black women come into my inbox saying that they wanted to date a non-black person, would y'all prefer for me to tell them, no, yeah, do it, instead of vehemently telling them not to? Because a non-black person will never be able to understand your experience as a black person. And it's always for people who don't do anything for the black community. You're not in the streets. You're not even making videos on TikTok about these issues. See, another thing is my daughter, my middle child, who is dark brown and has 4C hair, they were experiencing so much racism at that school from non-black people that they were going to, that I went up to every level above until I got to the director of the school system in this county and had them removed and put into a school with 2 black principals. In addition, as a result of the bullying that they went through that was horrific, I am now on the board of people that are going to rewrite the school handbook. And I informed that director very clearly that my focus was going to be on black children who have the least representation. See, that's what I'm doing when I experience a problem with my children and racism. I don't sit on it and just talk about it. No, I do action. What do you do? Oh, okay. Anyway, I know that black children are not safer around non-black children because I'm from the hood, right? And so my mom knew that the education system around where we live was shitty because property tax is what determines how much money goes into the school system. So for good teachers, supplies that are needed, the schools will have, I went to school and it was like 40, 50 children with one teacher. You can't learn that way. So she put me in an all-white Christian private school for about 3 years, where I learned self-hate, where they were so horrible to me that I learned to hate myself, and I had to undo that, where I had to change who I was in that white school to fit in so that the bullying would stop, which it never did. And then when I got taken out of this school and put back in the school system I should have been in the whole time with my own people, I had to readjust. The reason black parents think this is because we have been taught that white people are better. That's why they think that. They've internalized that. Because what they're taught is black kids in the hood, we just like to make jokes in class. We don't want to learn. We don't want to do any of this. But white kids, they want to just listen to their work and they want to go home to their parents, eat dinner, and then just do their homework and make straight A's and shit. Well, it's not fucking true. I seriously believe that it is better for your children to be brought up around their own people, to keep their culture, to keep their accent, to keep their language, and then fill up the gaps of education at home if you're able to. Because look at these black kids who speak white, like y'all say, and go to predominantly white schools and all that shit when they go to college. They're miserable. I'm too black for the white kids and I'm too white for the black kids. And everyone wants to blame those black children for that. But the problem is that they were taught at home that they weren't supposed to act like us. But they still crave that interaction. And so when they come around us and they're like, oh, my people, they don't know their language. They don't know the rules of engagement, the body language. They don't understand the roasting. And it's not that black kids just love pushing, those type of other black kids away. It's not that. It's that, one, those black kids come off as a cocky. It's not the white talk. It's their behavior. Because those uppity black people were taught that the things that black people do in our culture is beneath them. And those black kids who do bully those other black kids that act like that are doing, unfortunately, what's natural. You push away what's foreign for your own protection. I put it this way. If you've been raised, as you should have, that non-black people are unsafe, and then you have someone come in who acts like the people you were taught were the enemy, they look like a wolf in sheep's clothing. In addition to that, the uppity black children that come in, who is really not their fault that they act like that, it's their parents, ostracize themselves. Okay, like if we were to say, damn, your hair nappy, girl. And this is not about texturism. I'm just saying, you know how we talk. It's completely different than, oh my God, girl, your hair is nappy today. See what I'm saying? See, me saying that, girl, your hair nappy is not an offensive thing when it's said that way. Because I could have a nappy moment tomorrow. But coming from an uppity, it hit different. And it doesn't help that I was also raised by poor uppity blacks. But that's a story for another day. But essentially, your kids are not safe with non-black kids. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, everything. The type of hate for their selves that can grow can lead to mental illnesses. I'm not going to get into my child's business who was heavily bullied, but I will say this. There was a lot of effects that almost feel irreversible at this point, and I'm really trying. A therapist, a whole bunch of stuff that I'm trying. Just don't do it if you can. Because again, the problem is I live in the suburbs now. It is an entire blessing that the school that they now attend has 2 black principals, and they take racism very seriously. I wish I had known about it the whole time, but it's out of district, so you have to apply for it. Try to keep your kids around their own. So I made a video about non-black people being racist in black neighborhoods while taking black money. And I keep seeing comments about how black people are racist to this type group or whatever. But the funniest one was someone said, I've heard y'all call Indians curry eaters. I'm not saying it don't happen, but black people pretty much have a universal way of talking. And I've never heard it. Plus y'all do enjoy it. But the solution to that is leave our neighborhoods and we would never have any interaction with y'all at all. The fact is we've never done anything to y'all to harm y'all. And we wouldn't have the opportunity to anyway if you'd leave. But y'all go home after taking the black dollar, giving nothing back to our communities, and call us all the racial slurs that white people came up with, plus a few of your own. Y'all have no reason to hate or dislike us. But if we go to Google and we type in India and the African slave trades, what are we gonna find? Okay. Plus, how does curry eaters mean anything? What if we called y'all fried chicken eaters? See, the fried chicken has a history behind it of racism.
So this is all I got from this video, and looking at the comment section, the comment section really it's very wild. And I am going to put some comments so you all can read, because I see a lot of people that are not black in the comment section trying to defend what happened to her own child, right? Because he had an experience. Why playing at the playground, and she ended up going to the house of the child to confront the father because something was pulled out, something they use in cutting something, like, was pulled out in the process, right? I don't want to call the name. And the father started lying. This really tells you how some people are bad. I mean, their parenting this skills are just zero. And you can imagine at what age your child already started knows slurs for other people, you know? I mean, it means it's either they are also using something like that in their family. Because for a child, maybe 10, 15, thereabout, I don't know, but it's really weird, kind of, that your child have started using slurs on other people. And at the same time, pulling something that tells you how prepared they could be sometimes. And the reality is, I support what Krista said, because sometimes we feel like being in neighborhood as like the same neighborhood with ourselves, it's kind of ghetto, or you just need something different and all that. You just need to be in a different. See, I do not have problem with like wanting change and all that. But at the same time, when you are changing, change how it also affects your kids, because that is really very important. So her neighborhood has other people and the Hispanic and the rest of it. And see how they already started showing what they can and what they cannot do. But man, it's really crazy. It's crazy that the father that was supposed to make corrections on that child started lying. And I love the fact that she is also a very smart woman, and I am sure she's been on this TikTok street for a longer time, and she really knows what has been happening and what they can do and what they cannot do, and the rest of it. And the comment section is really wild. And this video, we are asking her for part two, because the video already cut off, but the part two has not come yet. And I really hope that there will be part two. So I definitely will bring it here, because we really need to know how we all started and how we all ended. And I am going to say this, and I really hope that all of you are very careful there, because you all know how it is going, how they can be too ray, to us people that look like me, and to the younger ones too, because there is nothing as horrible as experiencing something, or you experience something and then finding out that your children are going through that same thing. You definitely will be heartbroken, and you definitely will want to protect your child and make sure that they are safe and all that. For everybody in the comment section saying that Black people could do something like that, and some people were like, non-Black minorities in white dominated areas are the war and the worst. And I really do concur. I concur, because some of them tend to do more than the people that even brought that lifestyle and the rest of it. But you know what? I am really hoping that I mean, she stands up for the child and protect the child, and make sure that they do not cross their lane again, because boundaries are very important. Let me know what you all think in the comment section, and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.